Rami Malek, of course, ended up landing the role of the iconic Freddie Mercury. According to IndieWire, the film was a long-running passion project for Sacha Baron Cohen. However, according to Vulture, Baron Cohen's movie fell apart because Queen's co-founders, Roger Taylor and Brian May, approached the movie with a certain amount of caution, in an effort to preserve Mercury's legacy, while Cohen reportedly remained interested in a gritty R-rated tell-all about the singer. British stage and screen star Kenneth Branagh was ultimately cast as the narcissistic Gilderoy Lockhart. In a report published by The Guardian, Grant's agent confirmed that the actor was forced to bail on the Harry Potter movie. Grant ditched his role in the franchise to star in 2 weeks' notice alongside actress Sandra Bullock. Eli Roth was the one who got to bring this grisly role to the big screen. Sandler confirmed he had been approached by Tarantino to join his new project. At the time, the title hadn't been revealed, but he was going to be shooting another movie at the same time, so he had to turn it down. You're probably familiar with Sir Alec Guinness originating the role of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. Mifune's daughter Mika, speaking at an event in Tokyo with Steve Wozniak, said, "I heard from my father that he was offered the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he was concerned about how the film would look and that it would cheapen the image of samurai, on which George Lucas had based a lot of the character and fighting style." Jared Leto ultimately landed the role of Neander Wallace in the highly anticipated 2017 film. Director Denis Villeneuve said, "Our first thought, for the character, had been David Bowie, who had influenced Blade Runner in many ways." He continued, "When we learned the sad news, we looked around for someone like that. I'm sure you're all familiar with the fact that Scarlett Johansson plays Black Widow in the MCU to much acclaim. However, according to Entertainment Weekly, Emily Blunt was the original choice for the Avenger super spy, who first appeared in 2010's Iron Man 2. Blunt said, "I was contracted to do Gulliver's Travels. I didn't want to do Gulliver's Travels," Blunt admitted, explaining how her involvement in the film meant she was contractually obligated to an optional picture deal with 20th Century Fox. Director Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, Sofia Coppola, notoriously played the role of Mary Corleone, Michael Corleone's daughter. However, according to Insider, Coppola took on the role only after Winona Ryder, who had originally been cast, suddenly left the movie following what was later diagnosed as a nervous collapse. According to Andy Garcia, who played Vincent, Ryder was on another movie, so she wasn't even in the original week of rehearsals we did in Napa when we first started. But Sophia was there and she sat in and read the part even back then." Gerard Butler, in his first big on-screen role, ultimately landed the titular role in the Broadway musical's big screen debut. However, back in 2001, The Guardian confirmed that Antonio Banderas would be playing the Phantom. Just a couple of years later, though, Playbill reported that director Joel Schumacher had passed on Antonio Banderas, and other actors like Hugh Jackman, in search of a younger cast. You're more than likely familiar with Chris Pratt playing the beloved role of Star-Lord in the MCU. Director James Gunn revealed during a Q&A on his Instagram stories that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia actor Glenn Howerton was this close to landing the fun-loving role. Oscar winner Brie Larson, of course, famously plays the titular role of Captain Marvel in the MCU. Back in 2011, Screen Rant reported that a new, and pretty wild, rumor claims that Yvonne Strahovski could be cast as Ms. Marvel in the Avengers movie. The information source was a fan site that claimed to have inside word from a protected source inside Marvel, who named Strahovski as the actress being cast as Carol Danvers. Ever since Shrek debuted, Mike Myers has been forever tied to the role of everyone's favorite ogre. According to Yahoo Entertainment, Chris's brother Kevin Farley, in a 2015 interview, said the Saturday Night Live and Tommy Boy star had recorded nearly all of Shrek's dialogue before he died of a drug overdose in 1997. And Farley's version of the character would have been markedly different from the one we all know, ultimately voiced by his SNL co-star Mike Myers, who gave the character a distinctly Scottish brogue. Jamie Foxx ultimately took up the mantle of Django in this revisionist western. However, according to IndieWire, Michael K. Williams, perhaps best known for his performances as Omar on The Wire and Chalky White on Boardwalk Empire, had actually met with director Quentin Tarantino about the lead role in Django Unchained. Originally set to be released in the 90s, Superman Lives was a cancelled project set to star Nicolas Cage as the Man of Steel with a script by Kevin Smith and Tim Burton in the director's chair. Allegedly, the reason Warner Brothers cancelled Burton's Superman film was that they were unhappy with the performance of Mars Attacks, which bombed at the box office. In an interview with Inverse, Jonathan Gemme said, "Warner Brothers punished Tim." Leslie Ann Warren played femme fatale Miss Scarlet in the ever-popular Whodunit. However, Carrie Fisher was originally cast in the role. Director Jonathan Lynn got a call informing him that Carrie Fisher was in rehab. Lynn explained, "I was very naive. I didn't know what she was talking about. When I met her at a restaurant, she had actually fallen over a chair, but I had just thought she was short-sighted or something. She sniffed a lot, and she said she had hay fever, which of course I believed." Robert De Niro ultimately starred as famous monster Al Capone in this Academy Award-nominated film. Hoskins said, "Brian De Palma sent me a script for The Untouchables and said, 'Look at Al Capone.' I went to meet him at his hotel, and he said, 'Really, I want Robert De Niro to play him.' And I thought, well great, what am I doing here?' He then said, 'But if he doesn't do it, would you sort of step in?' And I said, 'Yeah, of course I will.' Months went by, and I read the papers and saw De Niro was doing it. One morning I received a check for £20,000. It said, 'Thanks for your time, Bob. Love, Brian.'" If you're a fan of Luc Besson's iconic fashion-forward sci-fi flick, then you know Chris Tucker played Ruby Rhod. However, according to Entertainment Weekly, Prince was originally going to play the role. Unfortunately, the music icon was going to play eccentric media personality Ruby Rhod, but because of his tour schedule at the time was unable to star in the sci-fi film.